strive to be humble, lest I stumble. Never sold a jumbo or cop chicken wings with mumbo sauce. Tyson is a foul holocaust. Hitler gas your whole head up with poetry, I'm fed up. Ignore cordon bleu, stand up, get up. Lunge for your knife, don't forget your potholders.
Hot shit.
What? These old things? About to throw them away with the gold rings that make them don't fit like OJ. Usually I take them off with oil or Olay. MCs is crabs in the barrel past the Old Bay. Hot as hell and it's a cold day in it. Working on a way that we can roll away tinted. Some say the price of holding heat is often too high. You either be in a coffin or you be the new guy. The one that's too fly to eat shoe pie. Never too busy when it comes down to you and I. A lot of niggas wish to die. They need to hold their horses, it's bigger fish to fry. You're on the list, if not, pick a number spot. 10 and a half Tims is made to kick your bumper clock. I could've had a V8, F-150 quad cab, but I'll be straight. Money comes and goes like that 2-bit hussy that night that try to rush me. Dwight passed the Dutchie, so I could calm down so they don't get it twisted. Take it from the fireside and won't get blistered. Got it, what happened? Oh, it's not lit. These metal fingers be holding
Hot shit.
When I was 4, I penned God was born in New York back in 77. Still got Nan in the crescent. The effervescence of God's presence is thick. Unlike vapor, esterol, extra roll, word to the baker. Peace to the hard-working gingerbread makers. Looked up and down, said, too much makeup. Poor music taste, 10 years from being grown up. Rappers don't blow up, heads do. My name is Dwight Spitz, I'm a sonic addict. I used to think it was merely a nagging habit. Born under a bad sign, I'm serious about this curse of mine. I strive to flip it into fine wine. Barely born a virgin is what the stars said. Black not white, red all over though like Elmo. 28 years have passed, I feel I'm peaking. I make music every weekend. It's a chore, a fact of life, a labor of love. I get mad love, but I detest the labor and its wages. You know, death. I'm serving life from this gift of God. Don't forget your potholders, my niggas.
Mo hot. Mo hot shit. Mo hot shit.
A short time later.
Welcome to the land of the permanent sun, where the flowers are melted and the future is fun. The freeway lizards are my feeling so good on a one-way trip back to West Hollywood. Let's go. It feels so good to have a perfect song. It feels so good to be in total control. I feel
hacer, matar, crear un plan, habladuría sobre ingeniería en salud mental, adquirida por una vida polar, higiénica, poética, estética, estéril o minimalista, proteína vegetal, proteína digital, crear, armar, amar un plan, ser lo suficientemente mayor como para querer a una fragata sumisa que siente tanta feromona en tu olor. Lo anticlimático que se siente, un video en Santiago, sección central, crítica profesional sobre vivir la vida no binaria y catalogarla de automatizada por el gran ideal, o difusión hacia el continente lateral. Hoy día yo me encuentro en personal. Ella hizo un comentario sobre mi habilidad, mi preparación, mi capacidad de entretención para narrar, contar mi repertorio relato de terror, aeroplanos cortando el celofán y tú como nunca contornada por una tela roja que emboba todo.
It's a good song right there. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Starting a new series today. Starting a new series, the Arctic Monkeys discography, ladies and gentlemen. You're the first industry plant mod. Exactly. Yeah, Space Ashes was given editor role on my channel to have access to like my YouTube studio and shit for reasons that people will soon see. But apparently giving people the editor permissions also gives them mod as well. So yes, Space Ashes is a mod now. I think that's a world record time for someone joining the streams and getting mod. That's world record pace right there. You've heard this band is the least divisive band ever? Yeah. No differing opinions about this band. No, you know, there's no sort of like back and forth between discourse on their discography. Everybody seems to love this band across the board. They only have 7 albums. Arctic Monkey, in my head they have such a massive discography, but they only got 7 albums. Yeah, doing the Arctic Monkeys discography. This could be fun. This could be a fun one. Bands with 0 haters? Exactly. Exactly. But King Gizzard are also very much an outlier due to the fact that they, you know, put out about 1 million albums a year. Who dares? I need to mute my fucking notifications. Silence. Why is album of the year not working? There we go. New chapter starting? Exactly. New chapter starting indeed. Alright, I'm going to hit record as well. Just going to get started. There we go. Alright. Arctic Monkeys discography, ladies and gentlemen. This is kind of going to be the inverse of the Radiohead series, where with the Radiohead series, I'd heard everything except the first album. With this series, I've heard 3 albums, but the only one I can remember is the first album. Yeah, whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not. Going into this album, I already know I love it. I already know that this album's fantastic. I already know I'm going to be glazing the shit out of this album, okay? This album, I know like the back of my hand. I've also heard Favorite Worst Nightmare, and I've heard Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, and I don't remember shit about those 2 albums. I remember enjoying Favorite Worst Nightmare when I heard it, but never really having any drive to return to it. And I remember really liking Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino when I first heard it, but upon returning to it, I found myself being incredibly bored by that album and haven't re-listened to it since, and that was like at least 2 years ago. So I am going into the rest of this discography pretty fresh, and going into this album knowing it like the back of my hand. So this reaction is very much just going to be me glazing the fuck out of this album. It's going to be me already knowing my opinions on all of these songs, but getting to just express my love for it on camera for the first time. And then the rest of this discography will essentially be first reactions, or at least fresh listens in terms of the albums that I have heard. This album came out in 2006, same year I was born. It is 13 tracks, 41 minutes. This is a garage rock, indie rock classic right here. In terms of like 2000s indie music, this is an absolute standout and one of the most impressive debut albums of all time, especially considering the fact that I don't really love the stuff I've heard from Arctic Monkeys' later discography. I think that this album being their starting point is fucking insane in terms of like how high of a bar they set for themselves, and then in my mind how quickly it falls off. Again, maybe re-listening to Favorite Worst Nightmare I'll enjoy it more. I haven't heard Suck It and See, I haven't heard AM in its entirety, I haven't heard Humbug in its entirety, and I haven't heard The Car in its entirety, so maybe I'll be won over by those albums, but in my mind I have this worry in the back of my head that this is going to be the only album I come out of this series liking. Anyway, enough blabbering. I'm just going to get a notepad up real quick. I don't need notepad. Fuck notepad. I don't need notepad for this album. Yeah, enough blabbering. I'm just going to get started with this shit. Track 1, The View from the Afternoon. I don't need notepad with this. I don't need to keep track of my scores. I already know my scores for these songs. This album starts on 11. I love it.
Anticipation has a habit to set you up for disappointment in evening entertainment. But tonight there'll be some love. Tonight there'll be a ruckus, yeah, regardless of what's gone before. I want to see all of the things that we've already seen. The Larry girls and out the window of the limousine, and causing fancy dress. And they're all looking quite forlorn in funny ears and devil horns of hell.
You know, it's weird. You know, I'm so familiar with this album at this point that it's kind of just like, it feels like muscle memory listening to this. But then actually paying attention and thinking about it analytically again, which I've not done with this album in a long time, it kind of reminds me just how fucking brilliant of an opener this song is. It is absolutely insane how much energy they kick this album off with. We are really starting on 11, and it keeps it up the entire way through this song.
To set you up for disappointment in evening entertainment. But
Yeah, Matt Helders is bringing a lot. Apparently, he hadn't been playing drums for too long when this album was made, but Matt Helders goes crazy on this album.
we've already seen. I want to see you take the jackpot out of Fruit Machine and put it all back in.
Brian still might do Remember off the second album, and I might lose you, so.
Be the bandit, no. And she won't be surprised that she won't be shocked when she's pressed the star after she's pressed the lock. And there's hers and chapters sat in her inbox. And all that it says is that you've drank a lot. And you should bear that in mind tonight. Bear that in mind, yeah, you should bear that in mind tonight. Bear that in mind. Boy, your heart's out, but a reason it will block. Oh, will you send her after 9 o'clock?
This album's also very northern. Like, obviously they're from Sheffield, but you can fucking tell they're from Sheffield on this album, dude. Using lots of northern slang. Some of it even I'm not familiar with. Like, there's some shit on this album, like, some lines I don't understand.
Anticipation has a habit to set you up for disappointment in evening entertainment. But tonight there'll be some love. Oh, tonight there'll be a ruckus, yeah, regardless of what's gone before. And she won't be surprised.
Yeah, man, Matt Helders fucking brings it on this album. Especially considering he hadn't been drumming for too long when this came out.
Boy, around 3 o'clock when the 2 for 1's
know, funnily enough, we recently listened to that first Block Party album on stream. I can kind of see some parallels between that and this, where that Block Party album was full of so much insane, kind of bombastic, youthful energy, but it didn't feel all that. Yeah, legit, the timing. Oh shit! Didn't mean to click play on a different song. I just meant to click back into the tab. Fuck. It kind of brought that insane, bombastic, youthful energy, but it wasn't too focused on being explosive. It was more focused on the attitude. It was more focused on being kind of this group of youths, I guess, kind of causing a ruckus. And that's exactly what The View from the Afternoon feels like. It feels like this band of teenagers stepping onto the stage at a pub and just going fucking crazy, and you know, causing everyone in the bar to go fucking insane or something. The atmosphere here is fucking immaculate. It really does feel like being in like a Sheffield pub with a bunch of rowdy northerners kind of going crazy watching these kids perform on stage, and they're putting on like the best performance possible. It is ridiculous how well this works. Again, this is a debut. How old were they when they made this album? Like 17, 18? How old was Alex Turner? He was born in 1986, so he was 20. Okay, he was 20 when this album came out, 19 when they were making it. Yeah, that's kind of insane that they're able to create something that's this like perfect of a garage rock track, being 19 years old and this being their first experience properly making music. Listen, you're gonna see a lot of these across this album. This song's a 10 for me. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of spoil it now. I think this album's perfect. This album, as an indie rock album, as a garage rock album, it has literally everything I want out of this style, and it doesn't really have a single moment where it falters. So we'll see if this listen can hold this album as a 10 for me. But yeah, this first song is an easy 10. And, of course, it leads absolutely beautifully into the next song, I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor. Iconic intro. I'm sorry to pause the iconic intro, my brother's calling me. My mum has sent my brother home and she didn't give him her key. I'm gonna go let him in. I'll be right back. I'll tell you why she did that. It's because she knows I'm doing this. Alright, let's run it.
Stop making the eyes at me, I'll stop making the eyes at you. What it is that surprises me is that I don't really want you to. And your shoulders are frozen, oh but you're an explosion. Your name isn't real but I don't care for sand and lights.
Backing vocals there. What did it say? The way the song gradually builds into this chorus, so good. Yeah. See, this kind of has that explosiveness that I felt like the first song didn't have. I was talking about the first song not being explosive. This is the explosive moment. I forget, does this transition? No, it doesn't. I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor is an absolutely incredible turn into the more aggressive, where the first song is kind of more slick. It's got a little bit more of that youthful attitude, kind of just trying to rile the crowd up. This feels like the crowd are now riled up, and we're just going straight into causing a complete mess. We're trashing the place with this song. It is loud, it's angry, it's explosive. It really, really picks up the energy after the first song. And it feels kind of like more of a display of, I guess, just the more heavy and ridiculous aspects of the band. It feels like them really leaning into just how chaotic of an album this can get. And, you know, we obviously have more moments like this further down the line, especially towards the back half of the album. But yeah, as the second song, this is an absolutely fucking incredible pickup in the pace. This has always been one of my favorites, despite, you know, obviously it being the lead single, and I've heard this song about like 1,000,000 times. But still, this song still stands as one of my favorites on this album. It's like the easiest fucking 10 ever. Probably one of the best, like, English indie rock songs out there. It's, well, in terms of like indie English rock hits, I suppose, it's easily one of the best. This song goes fucking insane. Fake Dolls of San Francisco. It really is. So many clever lines throughout this whole album, to be honest. And yeah, it's fucking insane. Yeah, I'm missing that post-punk. There's kind of some post-punk isms here. Yeah, it's definitely more focused on the heavier stuff here.
Kick me out, kick me out. I don't want to hear you. Kick me out, kick me out. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you. Fake tales of San Francisco echo through the air. And there's a few bored faces at a black hole wishing they weren't there. And as the microphone squeaks, the young girl's telephone beeps. Yeah, she's dashing for the exit. Running to the streets outside. Oh, you saved me, she screams down the line. The band would fucking wank and I'm not having a nice time. I don't want to hear you. Kick me out, kick me out. I don't want to hear you, no. Kick me out.
The album also goes so seamlessly between the immaturity and the maturity so well. Like, this album is able to be really silly and really lean into, like, being a teenager in the UK and kind of getting into trouble and stuff like that, but then it's so easily able to switch into something a little more mature with more, like, surprisingly competent storytelling. Like, it's a surprisingly clever album. such incredible variety in tones already. I just love how much attitude every member of the band brings here as well. The bass lines, Matt Helder's on the drums especially, and also the guitars. Everything just feels so youthful, so sarcastic. Everything kind of has this very jokey quality, even in the more serious moments of this album. There's just such a sense of, I don't know, there's just such a sense of, I guess, a very, like, smart-ass demeanor that I feel like is incredibly charming throughout this. It's so weird to think that they were the same age as me when this album was made. That doesn't feel right. Because there are certain points where, like, certain songs will remind me of people I know, and it's like, yeah, 18, 19, being around that age, writing songs about this, it makes sense. And then there's certain songs that are so much more mature than that I'm thinking, how was this made by someone the same age as me? This feels like... It feels like someone, like, 10 years older writing a song. And I feel like Fake Tales of San Francisco is one of those songs where it's telling this story that is so detailed. It's telling the story in a way that has a lot of attitude, that has a lot of sarcasm, but is still pretty serious. And kind of is being told from a perspective that, yeah, is very down to earth and is very direct. You know... The band get a little less down to earth going forward, especially with the songs I've heard from AM, but this is like, there's something so, like, just human and humble about all of this. There's something that's very honest and open, and it comes across as more mature as even some of the stuff that I've heard from later on in their discography. Folk Tales of San Francisco isn't, like, my absolute favorite on this album, but it's still, like, the easiest fucking 10 I can give out. This song is so charming, it's so slick, the storytelling is incredibly direct. I fucking love it. Next up we have Dancing Shoes. I used to not like this song.
Get on your dancing shoes. There's one thing on your mind. Hoping they're looking for you.
I remember when I first listened to this album about, what, 4 or 5 years ago, I really did not like this song at all.
You've seen your future bride. Yeah, but it's so absurd for you to say the first word, so you're waiting and waiting, and the only reason that you came, so what you're scared for? Well, don't you always do the same?
I'll say the rating 10. It's probably going to be 10s across the board, I can't lie. Spoilers.
Down in here tonight, and some might exchange a glance.
You get a little bit of kind of like the post-punk revivalism here. In some of the more dancey elements.
As if it's impolite to go and mention your name.
Yep. Yeah.
Instead you'll just do the same as they all do and hope for the best. The only reason that you came.
Yeah, across the board of their discography, of course, exactly. Every album is 10.
Always do the same. It's what you're there for, but no. Little swine.
So much instrumental creativity. They really, it feels like they have an endless amount of ideas, an endless amount of resources. Like, it's still very raw, but there's something that feels so free about this. Like, they have the freedom to do whatever the fuck they want. You know, this album kind of feels like what early Oasis advertises itself as, where it promises this band of people that are, you know, like a band of like real people, you know, people who have been through real struggles, telling stories of being chaotic youths, telling stories of, you know, their their emotions when they were younger and their upbringing and all of the crazy shit they get into, except this actually delivers on that promise, you know? This is exactly what I wish Oasis was. This is genuinely fascinating, it's genuinely relatable, it genuinely feels like just a group of teenagers that were brought up, you know, not with all of this crazy, you know, it just feels like real people. I don't know why the fuck I'm trying to over-explain this. It just feels like real people telling real stories about, you know, being crazy youths getting into trouble. It's actually genuinely relatable, you know? Wouldn't be a video without me dunking on Oasis again. Listen, okay? This is actually something where I can draw kind of a parallel. So I feel like it's valid this time. Yeah, Dancing Shoes, I used to really not like this song, and now it's grown to be kind of a favorite for me on this album. Some of the most creative instrumentation lands on this track, particularly with Matt Helders doing lots of creative tom beats throughout this. Alex Turner providing a fucking powerhouse vocal performance, particularly at the end where he goes into the more loud, bordering on just straight shouting at the end there. Yeah, this song provides probably the most tensity out of any song so far. And also, just some of the most interesting lyricism as well. Again, kind of bringing a lot of that sarcasm, but to an even heightened degree. Dancing Shoes is another 10 for me, a personal favourite of mine from this album. Heard any Gang of Four? I think I've heard a handful of songs from Gang of Four. I definitely know the name. I couldn't tell you which songs I'd heard, though, but I'm pretty sure I've at least heard some of their stuff in passing. You probably couldn't see for the lights... Hold on, I always fuck up this title. You probably couldn't see for the lights, but you were staring straight at me. There we go. So I was kind of dance time. I'll probably fuck with them then. I like some dance time.
One night stands in coursing through the veins. Oh, how the feeling races back up to their brains to form expressions on their stupid faces. They don't want to say hello like I want to say hello. Well, the heartbeat's at its peak when you're coming up to speak. I know I'm so tense, never tenser. Could all go a bit Frank Spencer. And I'm talking gibberish, tip of the tongue, but I can't deliver it properly. Always all getting on top of me, and if it were this dog, you see.
All Out Boy title, yeah.
Everybody's trying to crack the jokes and that to make you smile. Those that claim that they're not showing up are drowning in denial, but they're not half as bad as me. Say anything and I'll agree, 'cause when it comes to acting up, I'm sure I could write the book. And now that you're more than a part in the play, it's slightly easier to think what to say. You had us all standing on our heads.
Such a great sense of dynamic range on this album. The album kind of has a very obvious bag of tricks that you kind of pick up on as it progresses. Lots of cutting out and then punching back in. Lots of playing with like a particular instrument getting one whole bar to itself. It plays a lot with dynamics in that way, but it gives it a lot of range. Just gonna do the album. Yeah, one of the most fun songs on the entire album, the most brief of the bunch up to this point, and I think that's a good thing for a song that's this fast-paced, for a song that feeds you this much as fast as it does. 2 minutes is about as much as I feel like this song warrants. It is a quick burst of energy that kind of describes falling in love with someone and, you know, trying to figure out what to do now that this person is more than just a part in the play. You know, it's kind of being young and figuring out how to be in love and balance that properly. It's a very fun track. Arguably, maybe the most fun song on the album for me. I feel like I don't even need to state my scores going on. Listen, unless I state otherwise, assume I've given the song a 10, okay? Up next we have Still Take You Home.
still I don't think you're cool. You're just probably alright, but under these lights you look beautiful, and I'm struggling. I can't see through your fake tan. Yeah, you know it for a fact that everybody's eating out of your hands. But what do you know?
Oh, the fucking interplay with the guitars is so good. So much fucking chemistry on this album. Every member of the band feels so electric with one another. It literally feels like a group of best friends that feel like they're able to like communicate with each other through the instrumental. It feels like a full flowing conversation the entire way through this album. Such a great fucking drum tone as well. That snare has so much fucking crack, the kick has a ridiculous amount of punch. Also a very slushy hi-hat sound, which is really nice for this more garage rock leaning indie rock. Yeah, straight up. Yeah, this album is radiating confidence, but it never comes off as cocky. I feel like a lot of the time when there's, you know, this level of confidence and this level of attitude being brought to the table, it can come across as incredibly cocky. In fact, that's one of my least favorite things about Oasis in that early stuff, is it just feels cocky, and there's an unlikability and kind of a distance created with that. But here, it's confidence, but it's also winking and nodding at the audience constantly. There are so many moments throughout this where it feels like it's tipping the hat to the audience. It feels like it's trying to stay at eye level with you. And there's no real sense where it feels like it's trying to go too high or like it's trying to show off too much. It's that perfect balance that they strike of being youthful, of being chaotic, and being very confident, but not... Yeah, but still keeping that connection with the audience and not feeling like it goes too far over the edge. Still Take You Home is one of the most energetic fucking songs here. One of the heaviest, one of the most blaring. And I feel like this track is a perfect display of just how rowdy they can get and still keep the album on track here. I think this might, based on memory, I think Still Take You Home is the heaviest song of the bunch. And I think that this song works fucking fantastically, especially as a big fucking storm to come before Riot Van, which is up next, which Riot Van serves as a perfect calm after the storm. Yeah, this song, again, unless I state otherwise, I'm giving everything a 10.
Sparks excitement in the boys, but the policemen look annoyed. Perhaps these are ones they should avoid. Got a chase last night from men with truncheons dressed in hats.
So nice that they added a slowdown here. Again, kind of showing a bit of restraint and maturity.
Still ran away though for the laugh, just for the laugh. And please just stop talking, cause they won't find us if you do. Oh, those silly boys in blue, well, they won't catch me.
Yeah, great display of variety as well. Again, the dynamics, fucking incredible on this album.
Have you been drinking, son? You don't look old enough to me. I'm sorry, officer, is there a certain age you're supposed to be? Cause nobody told me.
Writing's fucking amazing as well.
And these lads just wind the coppers up.
Notice any Elvis Costello influence?
They ask why they don't catch proper crooks. They get their address and their name.
I think that this song is the best display of maturity on the album. It's still telling a story, like, about these kids running from the police and hiding and giggling at each other to shut the fuck up, and then, like, acting like an idiot in front of the police and stuff to try and take the piss out of them. But it's looking at it from a perspective of these kids are ruining their lives, which is... Again, this is one of the songs that it's kind of crazy that they were my age writing this, because it's people my age that do this. And to have a song about, like, you know, causing a riot, being a rebel, and have it look at that as a negative thing from someone who is around my age, that's not something I'd expect. And again, that level of restraint, that level of maturity to even have a slowdown like this in a song that is a little more emotional and is kind of trying to put a different perspective in your mind of being like, hey, maybe what these kids are doing isn't fun and isn't, you know, them having a great time. Maybe it's actually them ruining their fucking lives. It's cool to get that variety and kind of that duality of looking at both sides of the coin on this song, even if this is kind of the only song to properly do that on the album. It's nice to get one track in here that does. Yeah. A surprising moment of reflection on this album that, again, I remember my first time listening to this, I was kind of like, wait, what the fuck is this song? What happened to all of, like, the fun bouncy shit? Why are we getting sad all of a sudden? But having re-listened to this album countless times at this point, it kind of clicks to me so easy why this song is such a necessary piece of the puzzle. And next we have Red Light Indicates Doors Are Secured. Exactly, life advice with the Arctic Monkeys.
We'll ask if we can have 6 in. If not, we'll have to have 2. We are coming up at our end, aren't you? So I'll get one with you.
For me it is.
Especially not with the food. He could have just told us no, though. He didn't have to be rude. You see her with the green dress. She talked to me at the bar. Where I can miss already £2.50. We've only gone about a yard. Didn't you see she were gorgeous? She would beyond belief. But this lad at the side drinking the Smirnoff Ice came and paid for a tropical reef. And I'm sitting going backwards. And I didn't want to leave. I said it's I agree, mate. Buy a Hillsborough, please. Well, I'm funny with that sketch earlier. Up near that taxi rank. Although you will have missed it. I think it was when you went to the bank. These two lads squaring up, proper shouting. I were next in the queue. The kind of thing that seems so silly, but not when they both had a few. Well, calm down, temper. We just young get so annoyed. But you're acting like a silly little boy. They wanted to be men and do some fighting in the street. They said no surrender, no chance of retreat.
It's so fun. Just making a song about getting into an argument and starting a fight on the street and making it feel like going into fucking war. Yes, so much fucking... This song is very northern. Unintelligible.
Was you riding in a taxi? 'Cause I didn't want to leave. I said it's I agree, mate. Buy a Hillsborough, please.
Is Hillsborough in Sheffield? I swear Hillsborough's not in Sheffield.
To jump it. Ask around, are you sure? Went for it, but the red light was showing. A red light indicates doors are secure.
Red lights indicate doors are secured. A great pickup in the pace after Riot Van. Again, this song is one of the more goofy cuts here where it's, you know, this guy getting into a fight with someone and just over dramatizing, I don't know, making it feel as over dramatic as possible, making it feel like he's going into fucking war with this guy before pussying out and getting a taxi home. Again, just some incredible imagery and storytelling on just getting into doing stupid shit when you're really young. One of the most, like, immediate and kind of tense instrumentals we've had on the album up to this point. The way the two guitars that are hard panned left and right kind of play off of each other, with the one on the right being a lot more intense than the left, and the way the song's constantly kind of marching and building, it creates a lot of tension, kind of feeling like it's building up to the fight before, of course, he pussies out and gets a taxi home. This song fucking slaps. Again, this it's not like fucking like one of my absolute favorites on the album or anything like that, but this song still is such an incredible piece of the puzzle and is endlessly charming. I'm next to Marty Bum. Another one of the softer songs on the album.
I've seen your frown and it's like looking down the barrel of a gun and it goes off. And how come all these words? Oh, there's a very pleasant side to you, a side I much prefer. It's one that's laughs and jokes around. Remember cuddles in the kitchen, yeah, to get things off the ground. And it was up and away. Oh, but it's really hard to remember that on a day like today when you're all argumentative and you've got the face on.
Another surprisingly mature moment here about getting into an argument with somebody.
Oh, I'm in trouble again, aren't I? I thought as much, 'cause you turned over there and pulling that silent disappointment face, the one that I can't bear. Well, can't we just laugh and joke around? Remember cuddles in the kitchen, yeah, to get things off the ground. And it was up and away. Oh, but it's really hard to remember that on a day like today when you're all argumentative and you've got the face on. And yeah, I'm sorry I was late, but I missed the train and then the traffic.
Even has a great build here, even being one of the softer songs. Injecting a bit of heaviness here adds a nice bit of dynamic variety to the track. And also one of the most simplistic but effective guitar solos on the whole album as well.
So laugh and joke around. Remember cuddles in the kitchen, yeah, to get things off the ground. And it was up and away. Oh, but it's really hard to remember that on a day like today when you're all argumentative and you've got the face on.
Yeah, Marty Bum, one of the sweetest moments on this whole album, even with it being about an argument, even with it being kind of a song that is him getting frustrated, it still feels like a moment of maturity and a moment of maturing, kind of learning your limits, learning, like, I guess, where your patience ends and kind of feeling this need to have to talk to this person about this. Even in, you know, the instrumental, kind of having that intense build-up, it still feels much more delicate than the rest of the album, sonically, and it feels a lot more like we've reached a point of, I guess, kind of getting tired of all of the shit that was going on in the first half, which, of course, that doesn't last going into the next song, but songs like Riot Van and Marty Bum that kind of add a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of levity to the story, a little bit more like a weight's been lifted off the shoulders and we kind of get a moment of just personal reflection. I feel like they're very needed pieces of the puzzle to make this album as great as it is. Like, the album would still be great without them, but I think the thing that makes this album perfect to me is the fact that we get these little bits and pieces of seriousness and these little moments of self-reflection. I feel like this album wouldn't be the same thing without them. Perhaps Vampires is a bit strong, but up next. This intro's got so much drive. Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's kind of hype.
All you people are vampires, and all your stories are stale. And though you pretend to stand by us, I know you're certain we'll fail. Well, I've seen your eyes as they fix on me, full of
God, that massive push and then that big drop, so fucking good. What do you help with?
All you people are vampires, and all your stories are stale. And though you pretend to stand by us, I know you're certain we'll fail. 'Cause all you people are vampires, and all your stories are stale. And though you pretend to stand by us, I know you're certain we'll fail.
It's kind of crazy. Is this the longest song on the album? No, so it's the second longest song on the album. The longest song we've had up to this point. We're at the halfway point, and it feels like we've already gotten a full song's worth of material. And then it goes into this absolutely fucking insane instrumental back half. It just kind of feels like the entire band getting to flex, you know? Yeah, Certain Romance is the longest song. This, well, is the longest song. This one's the second longest. Again, they use that trick a lot on this song, the dropping out and the pushing in. But it feels like this song is the one that kind of warrants it the most. This one's a very powerful song about, you know, kind of a very biting song as well, about kind of sticking it to people who were doubting. I think this is just about the band in general, talking about people who were, you know, pretending to wish the best for them, but, you know, kind of thinking that they're going to fail. And then this is them essentially giving the biggest middle finger imaginable to those people. Jesus Christ. My ability to speak has gone out the window today. Yeah, one of the... I agree with this, that it's one of the most fleshed out songs on the entire album, where you get essentially an entire song's worth of material, comparatively with the rest of the album speaking, in the first half, before it goes into this crazy instrumental second half. Very fun drum solo that I feel like finds a lot of power in its simplicity. Matt Helders isn't like going fucking insane or anything like that, but I feel like the simplicity of the drum solo adds a lot of charm to this, especially with how loud the guitar effects are on top of it, and the cool little bits of percussion like the bongos being thrown into the background and shit like that. I kind of like the I don't want to say overuse, but the heavy use of the dropping out and pushing back in thing that they do on this track. It feels like it adds a lot of stopping and starting, and it's kind of like a jarring change to go through with how many times they do it on this song. But I feel like with its runtime, that kind of adds a lot of power when each of these different sections come in. But this is one of the best songs on the album, in my opinion. Probably, I don't know if it's my absolute favorite, but it's definitely up there. One of the strongest, easily. When the Sun Goes Down, up next.
So who's that girl there?
Hang on a sec. I've got Discord on the wrong screen. I thought I did. I had to check. I was thinking in my head, do I have Discord on this tab? I did.
And what a scummy man. Just give him half a chance, I bet he'll rob you if he can. Can see it in his eyes, yeah, that he's got a driving ban amongst some other offences. And I've seen him with girls of the night, and he told Roxanne to put on her red light. They're all infected, but he'll be alright, cause he's a scumbag, don't you know?
It's funny they throw in a police reference in there, especially with the lyrical content of this song.
I said he's a scumbag, don't you know?
One of the craziest switch-ups on like any song I've heard, by the way. So unexpected.
Although you're trying not to listen, avert your eyes and staring at the ground. She makes a subtle proposition. I'm sorry, love, I'll have to turn you down. Oh, we must be up to summer. What are the chances? Sure, it's more than likely. I've got a feeling in my stomach. I start to wonder what his story might be. What his story might be. Yeah, 'cause they said it changes when the sun goes down. Yeah, they said it changes when the sun goes down. And they said it changes when the sun goes down. Around here. Around here. Oh.
Yeah, based on what I remember from that album, this kind of feels like it brings over some of that like hellish heaviness with the guitars. The only song I can really remember is Brian Storm off of that album. And this kind of has that same style of heaviness. Probably do that after this, yeah. I don't know, I think this works better as like a late stage track.
And what a scummy man. Just give him half a chance, I bet he'll rob you if he can. Can see it in his eyes, yeah, that he's got a nasty plan. I hope you're not involved at all.
Here's the thing, this album kind of feels like it is split into two halves. The first half of this album, from View from the Afternoon up to Dancing Shoes, Still Take You Home. Those first 6 tracks feel like they're going through the positives of kind of the crazy getting into trouble when you're young. It's, you know, it's falling in love, it's going out causing havoc, it's having a great time laughing, doing stupid shit. And then the back half is more looking at the negatives. The back half, you get Riot Van, which is, you know, a song that feels like it's about these kids ruining their lives, getting in trouble with the police. Vampires is about these people, is about realizing these people who you thought supported you are actually just, like, using you for their own gain and are thinking you're going to fail. Like, there's heartbreak, there's kind of the realization that maybe what you're doing isn't actually the smartest, and that it feels like that experience of maturing, you know? You get the immature side of the album, and then the side that feels like you're finally, like, properly, I guess, growing up. And I think that When the Sun Goes Down is kind of the most apparent moment of that, where it feels like a full perspective shift of like the place that you live at night, where you used to see it as fun, you used to see it as, you know, you'd see like a prostitute on the street and you'd think it's funny, and now you see it and you see like someone shady watching it and you think, wait, this is actually fucked. And this place really changes when the sun goes down. You know, this would not work as a first half song, I don't think. I feel like this coming towards the end, being one of the final three, is a smart choice. And I kind of honestly... Maybe this track could even work better if it was replaced with From the Ritz to the Rubble, if this came as the second to last song, but I don't know, I like that they give From the Ritz to the Rubble as kind of like a bit of space in between When the Sun Goes Down and A Certain Romance, which are easily the two, like, biggest pills to swallow on the album, in my opinion. From the Ritz to the Rubble up next.
Last night these two bouncers and one of them's alright, the other one's a scary, and his way or no way, totalitarian. He's got no time for you, looking or breathing how he doesn't want you to. So step out the queue, he makes examples of you, and there's no you can say. Behind the go through to the bit where you pay, and you realise then that it's finally the time to walk back past 10,000 eyes in a line, and you can swap jumpers and make another move. Instill in your brain you've got something to prove to all the smirking faces and the boys in black. Why can't they be pleasant? Why can't they have a laugh? He's got his hand in your chest, he wants to give you a tub. Well, secretly I think he wants you all to kick off. They want arms flying everywhere and balls as well. It's just something to talk about, a story to tell ya. Well, it's a black and turner's all the way, we'll put it down to fate. I said 1,000 million things that I could never say this morning. We got too deep, but how deep is too deep?
Like, even here, a song that's a little more ridiculous, but still, it's saying he's glad he's been turned away from this bar, and so, admitting that he got too deep.
You couldn't have done that on a Sunday. And that girl's a different girl today. So that girl's a different girl to where you kissed last night. You couldn't have done that on a Sunday. Of course not. Well, to let me tell us all the way, I'll put it down to fate. I thought 1,000 million things that I could never think this morning. Got too deep, but how deep is too deep?
I haven't, no. Jay has. You might be able to add Jay in the server, and he might be able to help you. But Cold Ghost Slayer is his at. I think he's still in my server.
Last night, what we talked about, it made so much sense. But now the haze has ascended, it don't make no sense.
Yeah, at Cold Ghost Slayer in the server, he might be able to help you. He uses CD keys. I don't know if he's online right now, though. I don't even know if he's awake.
But now the haze has ascended, it don't make no sense anymore.
Actually, legit. I know. Yeah, I know my friends use CD keys. Yeah, bass is fucking incredible. Bass is the MVP of this song, in my opinion. Yeah, From the Ritz to the Rubble is a nice kind of break in between When the Sun Goes Down and A Certain Romance. It is the most explosive song of the second half. It is easily the heaviest song of the second half, but it's still, while having that kind of big, kind of insanity to it, it still, has kind of the more mature lens that it looks at this through. It's talking about, they get turned away at the bar and they're kind of glad that it happened. It talks about having a conversation while they're drunk and then kind of realizing that what they were talking about didn't make any sense and, maybe the conversation wasn't the best idea. It still has, despite, again, being more ridiculous, it still has the mature outlook. And that's kind of like what I think the more genius aspect of this album is. is them still being able to keep up the tonal shift that the album goes through at the halfway point, even in its most bombastic moments in the back half. I'm glad that it kind of stayed on that kind of more sensible, mature outlook on this song. Yeah, From the Ritz to the Rubble is one of my favorites on this album, easily. It's one of the songs I come back to the most. I do use Steam, but you cannot add me, I'm afraid. We're here. We're at the final song already. I've been recording for an hour. It does not feel like it. This album always flies by every time I listen to it. Well, final song, A Certain Romance. It kind of has the inverse switch up as when the sun goes down, where that goes from super clean to super heavy. This goes from super heavy into super clean. Also, fucking beautiful riff. Stunning.
Tracky bottoms tucked in socks, but all of that's what the point is not. The point's that there ain't no romance around there, and there's the truth that they can't see. They'd probably like to throw a punch at me, and if you could only see them, then you would agree that there ain't no romance around there. You know, oh, it's a funny thing, you know. We'll tell them if you like, we'll tell them all tonight. They'll never listen, because their minds are made up, and course it's all okay to carry on that way. There's over there, there's broken bones, there's only music, so that there's new ringtones, and it don't take no Sherlock Holmes to see it's a little different around here. Don't get me wrong though, there's boys in bands, and kids who like to scrap with pool cues in their hands, and just 'cause he's had a couple of cans, he thinks it's alright to act like a dickhead, don't you know?
You know, I've always read this song as being like, after the crazy night out that was the rest of this album, this is kind of, you got the beginning of the song, which is the final kind of crazy moment of the night, before then the sun's finally come up, and this is like, the rest of the song feels like him walking home and kind of reflecting on everything that's happened. And kind of coming to the conclusion that he feels like he finally needs to start growing up, you know? After the back half of the album was kind of the night kind of taking a turn for the worst, this is him walking home and thinking, maybe I shouldn't still be doing this. That's what I've always read this song as.
Over there, there's friends of mine. What can I say? I've known them for a long, long time. And it
That was about
might
Chavs?
overstep the
Oh, really?
line, but you just cannot get angry in the same way.
I guess it could be him describing his friends, actually, yeah.
Not in the same
Yeah, talking about wearing
way.
classic Reeboks and naked Converse,
Oh no, no.
tracksuit bottoms, yeah. Maybe talking about, like, wanting to distance himself from that crowd. A Certain Romance is one of my favorite album closers ever. Ever. Jesus, I can't fucking speak today. Yeah, one of my favorite album closers ever. This song is one of the most, like, beautifully poetic endings to an album ever. A song that sees him after what is the crazy night out that is the rest of this album that takes a turn for the worst, reflecting on the types of people he surrounds himself with. It sees him reflecting on his actions and realizing, yeah, I probably shouldn't do this. And it's the first moment of true maturity on the entire album. The back half, even Riot Van, has been kind of a contemplation and kind of teetering on the edge of maybe this isn't the best. And then A Certain Romance is him kind of finally being like, yeah, maybe this stupid shit I'm doing, you know, is actually bad for me, and maybe it might be finally time to grow up. And it's such a, again, surprisingly very mature way to end this album, especially considering this was written when these guys were my age, and this is around the age where people are still doing this shit and finding it funny and causing all this trouble and shit. This is one of, like, the best album closers of all time, in my opinion. I think that this has some of the most beautiful indie rock instrumentation. The riffs throughout this song are absolutely stunning. The atmosphere being as colorful and as saturated as it is in comparison to kind of the murkier sounds of the rest of the album is such a nice change that still feels tonally fitting, considering this is meant to be like the sun coming up kind of moment. And I think that Alex Turner's writing reaches its peak on any Arctic Monkeys song I've ever heard here. I think that the writing on this track is the best that it's ever gotten on any Arctic Monkeys song I've ever heard. Probably my favorite song on the album. It's up there. It's between, like, this and from the Ritz to the Rubble, and I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor are, like, all in contention for being, like, my absolute favorite on the album. You know, it's close between those three, but I'd say this probably squeaks it out slightly. Ladies and gentlemen, that was whatever. We'll cut that out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not by the Arctic Monkeys. Or sorry, just Arctic Monkeys. There's no the in their name. This album is perfect. This album's a 10 for me. I think that this is one of the best rock albums I have ever heard. It is such a beautiful, relatable piece of indie rock that captures that feeling of youthful euphoria, but also the struggle of maturing and finally growing up perfectly. It strikes that balance beautifully. Performance-wise, this album is so fun. There's so much chemistry here. The production is fucking spotless considering this is a debut album. I think that Alex Turner, both as a performer and a writer, is in top form on this album. He is able to capture what it feels like to be in your late teens in the UK, kind of just feeling like you need to go out and cause as much trouble as possible, and then feeling the deep regret of that. He's able to capture that youthful kind of questioning and that kind of aloofness and unawareness. Is that a word? Unawareness of people around my age. You know, it's a very relatable album to me. It's one that I can see a lot of myself in throughout this, even if it's describing a lot of situations that I've personally never found myself in. There's a lot that I feel like there's easy to connect to here, and one that is understandably a classic for, like, people my age, people a little bit older than me as well, that come from the UK. It feels very real. All of this is so tangible, and I think that's kind of the magic of this, is just how much this feels like this could be a story about anyone you know, could be a story about even yourself. It's just so universal. As kind of like a coming-of-age experience, I suppose. Yeah, this album's a 10 for me. There's not really a single moment of this thing I don't love. There's not a single moment of this thing that I can say even slightly misses a beat for me. I think that this entire thing is just fireworks front to back, even on a slower song like Riot Van or Marty Bum. It really just feels so kinetic. The energy is so palpable. Everything just flows beautifully. And the amount of instrumental variety that is provided on this album as well is really shocking. We go from super heavy garage rock tracks to kind of post-punk revival songs to much slower, more intimate indie cuts. yeah, this album is like instrumentally one of the most thrilling for me as well. Americans can maybe relate as well, though maybe in a different way from this. Yeah, it kind of has like universal themes of like growing up and maturing, except a lot of this feels very specific to the UK in the way that it's told. Yeah, rare Northerner W this album is. Rare Northerner W. Burger person here can confirm. Mods ban this guy. We don't allow their kind here. I'm joking. That sounds so bad. Jesus Christ. Alright, chat, don't go anywhere. I'm going to do the outro for the video. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of this album and how it compares to other Arctic Monkeys albums down below for you. Make sure you stay tuned. Going to have reactions to the entire rest of their 7-album discography coming. Going to be doing them in order, so Favorite Worst Nightmare will be coming next. Yeah, like and sub if you haven't. We are on our way to 4K. Links in the description to my Discord, my album in the air, my Twitter, and my other channels. Check those out if you haven't. And I will see you all whenever I next stream or upload. Bye-bye. Cool. No need to write an album of the year review for this one. I've already got one. That's the wrong scene. That's on the wrong page. No. No, wait. Sorry, it's this one. There we go. Already got an album of the year review for this written. Is this moved up in the list at all? Let me take a look at my 10s list. Where is it? 14? Yeah, that's about right. That's about right, yeah. I feel like it lands itself in between these two. Need to follow me? Please do, please do. 220 followers. We're trying to beat ARTV. Okay, how many followers does this motherfucker have? 348. That's doable. Alright, cool. I think I'm going to just start a new stream for Favorite Worst Nightmare. Hillsborough is in Sheffield, by the way. I just looked it up. Yeah, I'm going to start a new stream for Favorite Worst Nightmare, I think. Just so I can have them separate for the VODs. There we go. Got to make a new thumbnail for it. Favorite Worst Nightmare. No, that's valid. Yeah, the album. I don't know. I feel like that's like an album that anyone can enjoy and anyone can relate to. You know, I can't imagine anyone like hating that album. You know. Right, let me get the new stream. I'm just gonna have the new stream already set up and ready to go. And then I'll take like I'll be gone for like 5 minutes and then we'll continue. Oh, shit. The way I do it is average scores and then adjustments. So I'll figure out what like my average score is and then I'll add or remove a couple points based on like album flow, based on like how do I think like it's a better experience than the sum of its parts. So yeah, I always do averages and then I kind of adjust from there. I used to score it just based on averages, but I kind of stopped doing that because I realized a lot of the times albums are better experiences than the sum of their parts. Yeah. Number one Weezer hater. I love it. I love how dedicated you are to the Weezer hate train. Really leading the cause. Alright, there we go. I'll set this for 25. Alright, cool. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Just going to end this stream. I'm going to move over to the new stream, which is up now. In fact, I'll get you guys the link for it. Right, there you go. Here's the link to the new stream. That will be starting in like about 5 minutes. Just literally just gonna make some tea, probably have something to eat real quick, and then as soon as I get back, we'll just dive in straight into favorite worst nightmare. So I'll see you guys over there in just a sec.